For now, welcome everybody to the Premier Madden Podcast. As always, your host Finn, and not joining me today is Anthony and Rob. They got some stuff going on, and it's pretty late on a Friday night, and they got things to do. Well, at least Anthony Rob doesn't have many friends to hang out with, but nonetheless, I am joined by a guest today. Who just called by Anthony, he said keyboard warrior. He called you keyboard warrior. I don't know. Anthony's in and out of the chat, but he doesn't know. But
I can take it. No, that's it's not the incorrect thing to say. I think I can turn it on and off, hopefully.
but as you can hear him speaking, joining us today is the Bengals user, gamertag, or sorry, this is a PlayStation League. The PSN is Polar, and his name is Dan, and he's a Massachusetts native. Am I right? Massachusetts?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you don't sound like it.
No, so I grew up in New York. I lived in New York for my first 13 years, and then I moved out to Massachusetts. So it's funny whenever I go anywhere else now.
They assume.
People are like, "Oh, you're from Massachusetts," and I'm like, "Well, kinda."
Mm-hmm.
But then, especially I went to a wedding in Dallas over the summer, and all that my buddy had told his family and friends was that I was his friend from Boston.
Oh, so you show up.
So I showed up. I'm not a Patriots fan, by the way, but I have a Patriots hat given to me from friends.
Yeah.
I showed up. I have my Patriots hat on. I have my sunglasses upside down and on top of the brim of the hat. I have my Dunkins in my hand. Went whole 9 yards masshole, and they were eating it up. It was hysterical.
Really?
Because I guess most of them had never, heard someone actually from Massachusetts.
So they thought that this was it.
They thought it was the real thing.
Interesting.
Every time I said Pak Makan Harvard Yard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giveaway, and you probably played him up a little bit. You probably knew what's going on.
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
Now, is Duncan? I've never even been. Most north I've been is Pennsylvania, which is fairly north, but that's just like to visit and stuff. So it's like Duncan a thing? Is that the thing you said? You said it like it was slang. Like I got my Duncan in my hand. Like I've never heard that used before.
Actually, it's funny. So I actually worked for Starbucks for a very long time through college and stuff. But they've actually Dunkin' Donuts has changed their official name to Dunkin'. They cut the donuts right off of it.
Interesting. Okay.
So I guess it might have been just a New England thing, but they cut it right out because we all called it Dunkin' anyway. That they just decided to roll with it.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's a thing for sure.
Got you. See, I'm from the town in the area where Krispy Kreme was created.
Oh,
so
okay.
That reigns for us. So
their donuts is still fire, dude.
Yeah. And I'm not a coffee drinker, so I wouldn't know the ins and outs of the coffee game of the Carolinas, but.
Yeah, can't fault the donuts though. Those are another level.
Anything fresh like that is just next level. And they only got one when I was in Hawaii, and it's on a different island, so you got to get them shipped in. But it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's worth it.
Exactly. I got you.
Enough about donuts. Your first year in PML. So you knew JT originally, right? Is that how?
I've known JT for a while now. It's going on 3 years, I think I've known JT.
Okay.
I don't even know how far to go back. I went and I was just talking to him the other day, and I think it was Madden 17.
Okay.
I found a video because me and JT, we used to be in an old league, and I had the Falcons, and JT always had the Panthers.
Right.
And JT and I had wars.
Mm-hmm.
We had battles. So I went back looking because he was, we were talking, and the oldest video I could find was from Madden 17, and it's me just nickel blitzing the crap out of him.
Oh, like that nickel blitz 2 from back then?
Yeah, so it's a nickel blitz, and I get a pick 6 off of it, and it's just a highlight that I had. At some point, I'll probably have to throw it. If JT and I ever, just having fun in the general chat, I'll just have to throw that in there just to have some fun with it. But yeah, so I've known JT for a while, and then at the beginning of Madden 20, he goes, "Hey, I've been working on this project," because we were working in another league as commissioners for all of 19. And he goes, "Hey, I've been working on this project, and I got an opening in this league, and I think you might enjoy it." Now, that happened to be the Premier Madden League, and I had no idea he was doing this. This was kind of his like project that he was working on all last year, and he didn't tell any of us about it because he didn't want to like offend us. We were like, dude, just do your thing, man. This is obviously a good big thing that you're working on, and we don't want to get in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, he invited me in, and it's been fun. There's some rules in here that I'm not super big into. Like, so
name and shame. JT knows he doesn't have ownership. It's like what the government's supposed to be like, balance power. So the podcast is its own branch. So don't.
So no, he knows because I told him. He knows. So like, first off, I've told you this. You'll see it next week, a very, very different offense than most people. And I'll explain it to you now because ain't nobody's going to probably listen to this before they see me play and be able to figure it out.
You'd be surprised, man. It's the haters that come out and listen to it as soon as we post it. And then there's a good chunk of folks that know.
No. Like, they'll have to go back and look at my old game tape from other leagues and stuff to try and figure it out. But it comes from where I used to like play in school and stuff. Right. So I only ever played defensive back. Growing up in New York, I met Jason Sehorn at Giants training camp.
The legend.
And being a scrawny white kid and seeing another scrawny white kid just demolish everyone on the field by how fast and tall and lanky he was, I was like, I want to do that. So whenever coaches ask me where do I want to play, I was like, I want to play corner. Well, being a white kid, by the time you get to high school, you're not fast enough to play corner anymore.
Right.
Unless you're really, really, really good. So I ended up playing safety. I played some slot corner, but mostly safety. And the only time I was ever allowed on the offensive side of the ball is if we were running option. And my coach let me go in as like a wingback or a tailback. And I got to run option because I knew how to read defenses and stuff because I was on the defensive side of the ball.
Right. You know what they're expecting and what they're looking for.
So you'll see next week that my custom playbook is built off of 80% option.
Which is the perfect Madden for you. So was that your kind of rejuvenation?
It's been my thing for as long as JT has been playing me. I've been running triple option.
Right. Right. And now you have the RPOs and the whole nine.
Right. Right. And I call it Flex Coast because it's sort of like Navy's like flex bone deal that they do, like their wishbone triple option stuff.
Right.
A lot of pistol, but it's also a West Coast passing scheme that's built into it because in Madden you can't really just run option. You have to be able to pass the ball if you need to.
Right. And one of the I guess it's a good balancing factor, but they limit your ability to hot route in those read option plays. So you got to have something in the back pocket to keep them honest. Otherwise, they're gonna play the backside corner on like a yellow, and then you can read it. But
exactly. So that's what's to come. There's a lot of pistol and stuff in people's future. But so the first 8 weeks or the first 7 weeks of being stuck with a stock playbook and not being able to run my offense was kind of frustrating.
Right. And, you can kind of see it. You're kind of – I'm just looking at the daddy leagues now. I just popped it up just to see what your schedule looked like. And, you're sitting firmly right kind of like in the back half.
Yeah.
And then rushing yards and passing yards. I mean, you're ninth in total passing yards a game, but – you're not scoring a shit ton of points. I mean, 26 is the healthy average. So, but your defense looks good. Is there something?
That's the thing. So defense, and this has come from. This is more Madden history. I used to play at a really high level. Back when I was, when they used to run those like tournaments at like Game Crazies and stuff like that. Back in that kind of era. I've been playing Madden since Madden '99. So I've been playing for a long time. And I used to go to these tournaments that are like this, in my town or next town over or whatever the heck else. And, I'd go – I used to take it as like a yearly like ritual to go and win myself the game so I didn't have to buy it because my mom wouldn't buy it for me. I had to save up my allowance. My shot was, well, if I can win it, right, then I don't have to spend 4 weeks of my allowance trying to buy this video game.
Right. 99. I think my first was 03 with Marshall Faulk on the cover.
With Marshall Faulk on it. So I remember that.
But I was also playing Game Day. So Game Day had Faulk on the cover.
Okay.
And Quarterback Club.
Yep.
2 with Gannon and Favre.
Yep.
That was a good era.
No, so I at 99 it was just John Madden on the cover at that point.
Right. Probably what, Sega?
No, N64. N64.
Oh, N64. Okay, I've never been. Actually, I got roasted in my PlayStation League. I've never owned a Nintendo product. Like I've never even played Mario like ever. Except for like Mario Kart like once or twice in my life. Like I've never.
You should, if you have it, if you've got a shot, do it. It's fun. You know, if you got a friend who has it, go over, grab a couple beers, and just start cranking out Mario Kart. It's a fun.
I've heard that. You know what's that drinking game where
Beerio Kart.
Right. We got to finish the beer before the race is up, but you can't drink and drive.
You can't drink and drive.
So I'm down. I think that would be a good time. So
it's a fun game.
Right. So Nintendo. I think the only Nintendo Madden I ever played was at my buddy's house. It was 2002. Dante Culpepper, but it was after Vic's Madden was out. It was after 4. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just where we were at.
Okay, so you had it
behind,
but you were okay. Yeah, no. So I got Vic's Madden when it was brand new.
Really?
I don't know what it was, but for some reason I had made a deal with my mom, and I think I might have gotten like straight A's for like an entire school year or something.
Mm-hmm.
But she bought me a GameCube and 1 game of my choice, and my brother got to get a game of his choice. And so I got Madden 04 with Mike Vick on the cover, because this is end of the school year. So Madden came out in like August, and we're talking the next June.
Right.
So I had played it, and my buddies had it, and we had all had fun playing it. But yeah, that was the first one I had brand new, was that one.
Got you. Yeah, so before CFMs, right? Because online CFMs, I think, is probably what rejuvenated my love for Madden.
Yeah.
I'll share my story, but what was your story? Were you obviously up through the years, and then more recently, were you a MUT guy before you got into CFMs? Were you a franchise guy, or were you just like head to head? Like, what was your thing when a new Madden came out?
So there was a lot of, I would do my own franchises as a kid. I would run just my own team as myself and go for as long as I could, try and win Super Bowls and stuff. And then you'd go play your friends, you'd actually play on the couch with your buddies. You'd have 3 or 4 people, 5 people come over, and you just play Madden for like 4 or 5 hours,
Right.
And this was during the winter or when the weather was bad, because when it was good, our parents wouldn't let us. They would just be like, "No, you go outside and play football."
Right.
You're not ruining my living room after you guys are freaking out playing Madden. But aside from that, after, once online gaming became a thing, it was – I started Ultimate Team in – what was the one that Sherman was on? Was Sherman on 15?
15. No. Calvin was 15.
So Sherman was 16?
I feel like Odell may have been on 16, and then Sherman on 17.
Was 17. So actually, I started Ultimate Team in FIFA in 13.
17 is Gronk, 16 is Odell, so 15.
So it was 15.
15 was Sherman. You're right. 15 was Sherman.
So my first Madden Ultimate Team was 15. I had started playing FIFA Ultimate Team in 13.
Gotcha. That was the best. That was FIFA Ultimate Team at that time was prime. It was
good. It was really good.
Like I was more like 11 and 12, but 13, even that, like, and that was the era where you could like get like an all Brazil silver star
team, exactly,
with
and it would
just pace. Like,
and it could work. Nowadays, it doesn't really. And I used to pride myself on having end game teams in both FIFA and Madden in Ultimate Team.
Right.
At the end of the year.
Yeah.
I did that in 18 was the last year I did that. Because FIFA has just become so abhorrently hard to get good teams in. And then so Madden, I've played Ultimate Team since up through. I mean, I don't have a big squad this year right now because I've poured a lot of time into CFM.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm like 82 overall or something. I got a couple 100,000 coins chilling out. So I'm just kind of waiting till Christmas time. That's when that kind of ramps up.
Right. Yeah, for me, MUT, So I got scammed out of a JJY. It was actually 15 as well. I was in the Navy, so I had like just moved. I had just moved to Hawaii. I had no friends. I didn't know anybody out there. I didn't even like talk at work. I would just go to work, come home, go to the gym to play basketball, come back, and then I'm just sitting there playing Ultimate Team. And that was, I remember it was like the breast cancer cards had come out where and that was like me convincing myself it was okay to spend money. Like up until then I was grinding like solos and playing games. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm donating money. And then like $250 a paycheck was going in the fucking Ultimate Team. And I was garbage. So let me tell you a little bit. My first Madden games we talked about was Madden 2003. Yep. My first true like ride or die play this game all the time football game was Carson Palmer's NCAA game. Okay. My buddy had gone to Penn State. It was my buddy's older brother. He started his freshman year at Penn State as a safety. Mm-hmm. And he played all 4 years for Joe. And this was Alan Zamitis, Tamba Ali, the last year of Larry Johnson, going into like the Michael Robinson era. Evan Royster. I don't have to name them all, but that era of Penn State football. So like I started it and then I played as him at safety. And then the next Madden came out with Reggie Bush on the cover and it was like the whole superstar or, you know, player thing. And then I wanted to be the safety across my friend's older brother. Like, I was like, he's going to play free safety. I'll play strong safety. So from that NCAA, so that's 07 was Reggie Bush. So from NCAA 07, or the one with the Michigan player on the front, I think it may have been Desmond Howard. Either way, all the way up till Madden 25. The only thing I played was Superstar mode as a safety. That's all I ever played. And the only variation was Superstar mode as a corner. That was it. I didn't play offense, dude. I didn't play offense in Madden for probably a good decade. Like,
damn.
Didn't
touch
offense. Didn't touch offense at all. And I just didn't care for it. I didn't like franchise mode because it progressively got worse.
Got you.
Superstar mode.
In fairness, you play in NCAA. That Dynasty mode was good for a long time.
Well, and what was crazy is I had kind of transitioned to Madden right when NCAA got good. So like NCAA 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like I didn't even play those. That was me playing Madden.
Got you.
And then that was like the shoot off of Modern Warfare 2.
Yep.
And COD like dominated my 14, 15-year-old world.
Dude. So I wasn't allowed to have Call of Duty until I could buy it myself. Because my mom's a teacher, and she was like, I'm not going to buy it for you.
Right.
But once you can buy it yourself, you can. So I played it at friends' houses and whatnot. But once Modern Warfare 3 came out, because that's the year I turned 17 and I could buy it, I was like, oh, well, I'm just not going to play anything else. This is so much fun.
Right.
Little did I know how much worse that game was than all the other ones. But that's okay.
Right. But, I mean, Black Ops 2 kind of saved the franchise. But
Black Ops 2 is easily my favorite.
Rock Your World, it was such a good game. But back to Madden. So that was it. So and then 15 hit, and I did the Ultimate Team thing because I played FIFA Ultimate Team. They had killed FIFA Team Play, so I was like, "Fuck, man!"
I was like,
well, I don't have anything. When Pro Clubs kind of developed, I loved it, and I still play clubs to this day. So we'll have to hop on that sometime. Well, I actually have to get FIFA for the PlayStation. I forgot I'm an Xbox guy. I'm like 99% Xbox. I own a PlayStation solely because JT wanted me in the league.
All right. I mean, I got both. I haven't bought FIFA this year yet. So if you're, I would say buy it on PlayStation because that's where I normally play it. But
I'll let you know. But but yeah. So like, I got the 15. I got scammed out of a JJ Watt card through a website that they do to trade cards for another card, and these dudes got me. And I was new to the game. I didn't really.
Yeah.
So I got scammed, and I lost my desire. And then I was on Reddit, and I found the CFMs. So that's like the story of how I got to it. I mean, and how does that transition? I don't know. My offense took time, took a lot of time. And not only that, even getting used to the middle linebacker meta. Now, I felt like that was a little bit more natural for me because I've been doing it as a free safety. But I never played zone. So like my thing was 2-man. It was like
Okay.
2-man, I'm the roaming free safety, or 1-man,
Gotcha.
I'm the roaming free safety, and I'll just cover down for whatever's going on.
Got you.
So when I started doing that, and then playing in that weird ass camera angle is like normal to me. So if you ever watch my streams, one of the things I do is like when I'm on the goal line, I like overcommit everybody to the run, and I'll leave like a safety on your best receiver out there in my formation, and then I'll switch that camera angle and like just play whatever route is coming because I feel comfortable there. And then you're not going to run. Most people just hot route a slant, and then that's like easy pickings.
Yeah, it's easy. All right.
So
I'll have to look at that. I've honestly never ever seen someone do that before, so I'll have to check that.
I'll send you some clips. Whenever I'm up big or situational, I'll switch to that camera angle and just see, especially when I'm running cover 0, just because I don't want the camera angle like of a play action to mess me up on the route. And to be able to cover it. But your defense, we talked about that earlier. I mean, you're sitting there. You're one of the best. Passing defenses. So what's working for you now? I will point this out. I got to give you a little bit of a reality check. You have by far one of the easiest
schedules. I know.
The only winning record team that you play for the rest of the season is the Browns. Everybody else right now is sub 500. Now, don't sleep on New England. Don't sleep on the Jets. You know, it's so early. And
I'm not sleeping on anyone. So gotcha. What I told JT, especially because I have the Bengals, right, is this team is, aside from a few skill position players, hot garbage.
The O-line's tough.
The O-line is terrible. The D-line is pretty good. So I've actually, because my defense has been playing so well, I've got Carl Lawson and Darqueze Dennard up to superstar now.
Oh, really? You got dev traits for him? That's super sick.
Which is super helpful. So, part of it was, so they would give me like, oh, this player had a breakout game.
Right.
And what it is like, so I had 3 sacks last game with this player. Okay, next game I can go out and get 3 sacks with this player again.
Right. And then you get the trait increase. Dennard, though, is interesting because we were talking about that in my other league because we have a tracker. Yeah. Anytime somebody gets one, they submit it to the website, little form to fill out. Okay. Dennard would be the oldest person that I've seen because we're trying to figure out like what it is, like because we can't figure out what triggers it.
He's 27, So
we haven't figured out what triggers it. If it's, I like it personally being completely random.
Yeah. I feel like that's accurate too, right? Because there'll be guys who are like 28 and have breakout years. You know?
Yeah, I like the idea of it. Random, it stops you from stat padding. If it's like if it's like, oh, if you get 150 yards in a game, then maybe next week you have a chance of getting a death story, bro. We're gonna see people cheesing.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's not good for a 32-man league.
No, not at all. But yeah, no, for the defense, the thing that I've been doing is I try and just, so first off, it works a lot better when I'm winning.
Yeah.
So, like, I can be a lot more aggressive when I'm winning games, when I'm up. So I try and be super, like, just the first quarter is always, like, a feeling out process, usually. And then if I get super far ahead or super far behind, I just start being really aggressive and start sending blitzes from exotic looks and things like that. Almost all the time, you'll notice if you watch my streams that my defense – generally, whatever play I pick, I'm just picking a shell coverage. What I'm doing underneath it is completely random, not random, but like tailored to what you've run earlier in the game, right? So like if I know, okay, this guy runs a slant out of the slot 3 times out of 4 on third down, I'm going to man that guy up, shade inside, and then that slant I don't have to worry about, and I can user cover the other side of the field. Right. Or I'm going to blitz from where that slant's coming from and then cover it with my user, right? So a lot of it is just like bait and switch almost. Like, because the play art will show up and you'll see, oh, he ran DB fire too, right? But what it actually was at that point was I manned up the 2 slot corners and it was just cover 2 with inside slot man, you know? And that actually comes from Madden 17. Was that the year that Crossman was a big thing?
I feel like 16. I feel like 16 because drags were so double drags was like so OP.
So yeah, and it's because I played at the upper levels of MUT for a long time. I know all those old meta like defenses.
Right. Remember
So
Sugar Bluff? Sugar Bluff?
Yep.
Bro, all right, so fun fact. Shout out to Cookie Boy because that's where I learned Sugar Bluff.
Oh, okay.
Was from Cookie, the Dolphins user.
Yeah.
I mean, him. I don't know if we mentioned it before. I don't know. There's no really a fanboy thing. You know, he was doing his thing. It was cool to watch his videos. But he had the 2 series where he was doing normal gameplays, and they were running that Sugar Bluff 2, Bluff 3 look, that defense, and it was just bananas. And I used that in MUT. So thanks, Cookie, for the dubs in Madden 15. And then he ran this team play thing where they took Matt. It was like some quarterback for the Jaguars.
Okay.
And they called him Matty Ice, even though obviously Matty Ice and Matt Ryan. Yeah. And they did like a team play series. So shout out to Cookie Boy. I know we've been talking about other things. I had to do that because I was thinking about it the other day when he was in the league. So, but those old metas, dude. Cross Manning, Nickel Blitz 2,
and all that stuff. Yeah, all that stuff is kind of like if you can sprinkle it in, it still can be effective. You just can't run it every play anymore.
Right.
You know. And like Crossman's not really the same. Like I'm straight up manning those slots.
They don't let you crossman anymore.
You can crossman safeties.
Can you really? Okay.
Yeah. So if you're ever like this guy's running mesh, you can take your safeties and man them on opposing slots. And if you pull them down into the box like show blitz, it's abhorrently it's basically crossman. Yeah. But a lot of that stuff. I like you, fanboy and Cookie Boy, a little bit, not much, but a little bit. I used to be super cool with Z Farles and S Gibbs and those guys,
right?
Because they're from Massachusetts,
right?
So I knew them a little bit, and I would hang out with talking group chats and stuff with them, and they're cool dudes. It's kind of unfortunate that that This Week in Madden thing. I don't know if you ever watched that, but that ran for like almost 4 years or something like that. And I used to, watch their stuff a lot, but
it's tough. It's tough now. It's tough to keep things going because of how much the game has just changed and it's very one-dimensional. So it gets like even with this podcast, we find ourselves struggling to put out tons of content because there's so many. And this is to the credit of the PML folks. Now there's so many things that they're doing now. Yeah. This kind of used to be the only place to get like a centralized talk about the league, and at the end of the day, like it's just so hard to talk about a bunch of games you didn't watch. Like we looking at box scores the whole time, going like, did he ran well? And it'd be like, oh, that was a sim. And I was like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot, like
I feel you.
There was just too much going on. So now you had the league report, the fantasy report that those guys are doing. So credit to them.
But so the defense is just kind of it's old stuff thrown in, and
now you run press man because that's what this team is built to do.
Kind of. So I do run a lot of press cover 1, but even then the press cover 1 it's a cover 1, but there's going to be a curl flat somewhere and then shaded on the inside on the side of the curl flat, and then I'm covering the outside on the side that's not the curl flat, and then it depends on, am I in dime, am I in nickel, am I sending the guy from the slot on the right, am I sending him from the slot on the left, am I sending a linebacker, do I have a spy, is it just a straight 4-man rush and let Gino do his thing, so it's all up in the air. It really is. And it seems to be working, but like you said, it's working against, a weaker schedule. So it'll be interesting to see, when I go and face the heavier hitters, see what happens.
Right. In fact, it's good that we're having this passing defense conversation because you sit third. I actually sit first. I mean, this is just total yards a game. This isn't really anything.
Gotcha.
But so it's good talk because one of the big things I see in chat, and we're not going to get too much into chat rivalries, Mr. Keyboard here, but one of the things that I heavily disagreed with Anthony last podcast, I think when it comes to CFM players, this is the top Madden. This is the top dude for guys that play football growing up that really fill the game out. Now, I will admit there's a lot of times where these throws really could be tipped or picked or dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some weird, wacky animations, but I think it's that I would prefer that to super linebackers.
For sure. For sure. The fact that you can now throw over the middle against a cover 2 is like nice.
Right. And the seams are open. way more realistically versus cover 3 instead of having to like throw verts and it's just the depth of it. There's so many stack formations now that I just feel way more comfortable running and throwing passes because the cover 2 corner can't play both a corner and a flat like they used to. They have to truly pick one. So I feel
it used to be even better before they tuned the break on ball. You used to be able to throw all over the field.
Bro, my thing starting out early, mainly in the Xbox leagues, was just fade routes down the right left sideline versus cover 2. Like if you didn't have an elite safety in the beginning of this game, they weren't reaching that ball. But now they're breaking on it way too quick, and I'm like, oh my god, that throw.
You can still fit it in. I don't know if you watched my game against the Jaguars. That was a big test because I was like,
that defense.
Yeah, so I was talking to you the other day about, just reworking my offense because it wasn't working. And you had just said, just throw it to AJ, see what happens.
Yeah.
And so I did that against the Cardinals, and then I did that against the Ravens, and it worked.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, so I can't just do that this game because he's got Jalen Ramsey, but I'm going to try it.
Right.
And Ramsey broke up everything.
Right. It's Jalen. It's no matter how good AJ is, it's still Jalen.
Yeah, so against the cover 2, even with Jalen Ramsey and who's their free safety over there? I have to go check, but he's decent from what I remember. Taj Gibson or something like that?
Taj Gibson's a Texan, so it's Deshaun Gibson. So
Deshaun Gibson.
I'll be honest with you, unless he's playing Harrison back there's a good chance it's a dog shit safety.
I think he actually might have been playing Harrison back there. I'm gonna check.
I got you right now. He's got like Cody Davis. All right, his safeties overall are
Cody Davis and Ronnie Harrison.
Right,
okay.
71, 65, 71, 68. Yeah, it's pretty dog shit back there.
Yeah, so he's running Ronnie Harrison. So maybe that's why it was working. But even with Jalen up there, Jalen would carry the fade for a little bit. He'd drop off, and then AJ was right there on the side, and it was working. And then out routes against cover 3 because that team's built to run cover 3.
Right.
So.
Right, and cover 3 will never stop out routes. I don't know what it is with the programming, but it's free money.
I think it's just the leverage, right? Unless you press and then shade outside, I mean, they're always going to be off. So
pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's how it's built. I'd like to see some of and I've seen some corners jump and grab it, but I'm pretty sure that's mainly user adjustment versus snap adjustment versus just running stock 3.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, I just, when it comes to the defense, I just feel like this game prides people. You have to be content and not discouraged when you're getting beat between the 20s. I think that's
the big thing for sure. You can't, and I'll beat myself sometimes. Like in some of the earlier games that I lost, it was me like getting really pissed that I was like, oh, so he's just throwing all over the park. I need to do something aggressive to stop this.
Right.
And then I'd run some crazy exotic blitz with like zero help over the top, and then I'd get dimed on, and I'm like, I should not have done that.
Right. Yeah, picking and choosing. And then like the biggest things I find myself doing is I'll like my big I'm really liking blitzes on third down here, but if I see something that I might even think might be keeping a running back or playing max protect, like if I have time, I'll switch to like cover 2 or cover 3 as fast as I can. Or I'll just blow the timeout. Just like, all right, listen, he's going to be able to protect, because if you get protect in this game, the blitz gets picked up. It's a wreck. It's a train wreck, and it should be a train wreck.
And here's the crazy thing: green dogging actually works. I don't know if you know that. If you take the guy who's supposed to be blitzing, that 5th guy, and man up the halfback,
right.
And the halfback stays in the block, he just comes out of blitz.
Right, yeah. Definitely in the back pocket. Do you know about the blitz glitch?
No, I've not seen that.
I don't know if I've said this on the podcast yet. I've debated. I don't know anybody that knows this, bro. I feel like I'm the only person that knows this whenever I tell somebody. So this is alert. Pay attention. I've been thinking, like, I was like, if I ever wanted to start a YouTube channel, this would be like the first one.
How you start it, yeah.
So, if you come out, I feel like I may have said this on the podcast, but nonetheless, I'll repeat it for season 2 folks, or Madden second cycle folks. So, you come to the line of scrimmage, and you have a receiver out wide.
Yep.
And you know how you had the matchup wheel?
Yep.
You can use.
Oh, so if you cover over and it doesn't select them.
Yeah, if it goes to, like, so say it's a corner 3 blitz, or cover 3 blitz, it won't put the blitzing dude on the matchup wheel to the receiver sitting right in front of him. It's going to go to a linebacker. So you're going to see this line going all the way to linebacker, and all you have to do is run a quick out, and that's money.
Okay.
Same thing. If you come out and you do it on your running back, and it doesn't go to a linebacker, it goes to a safety, then that means the linebacker.
The linebacker's blitzing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, now I'm going to hop into practice mode real quick while we're sitting here.
Yeah.
Come out nickel blitz. So
here's the thing. Zone is the only thing where what did I say? Because I remember having to word it because it's not unreliable versus zone coverage. It's just you'll know if they're coming. It'll tell you if they're coming, but it won't tell you if they're not coming. Does that make sense? So you can look at it, you can be like, oh, that dude's definitely blitzing, but don't. Like either he's blitzing or he's not. Like if you don't see that the line not working, then you can rest assured he's not blitzing. But if it doesn't line up straight to him, but just because it doesn't line up straight to him in like some of the cover 3 zones, it's not completely reliable. But if he's running cover 0, if he's running that cover 3 nickel blitz, I've yet to see it. No.
Got you. All right, I'll have to look at that. Look at that.
Keep that in mind. It's such an easy like I got people that will DM me, be like, "How did you know?" Like, how did you know? And I just play it off like I know what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I can read. And sometimes you can read the blitzes, especially some of the man ones. But and that's the blitz glitch. And I just feel like it is tough that it does exist in this game. And I do agree to an extent, but I do think that with the guys in chat talking about how defense doesn't exist in this game, and they're really
it does. It's there.
I think it's there, and you do need pass rushers, and you do need to. I do have one of the better D lines. I don't have one of the better pass rushing D lines.
Yeah.
But I have one of the better run stuffing D lines, which helps me because whenever it's passing, it's long downs, it's long distance. Yeah. So I get that, and then you got Gino and
just you having snacks is a whole nother level of like you can't run up the middle.
Yeah, except for Kansas City, and that's because the whole Kansas City game was I would rather you beat me with Damian Williams than you beat me with Tyreek Hill. I really don't. I held him to like 80 yards with Mahomes. Like I was like, what? But I got carved up on the ground. It was like 200 yards given up on the ground. So credit to Mike Words too. He's been killing it. He's actually, he's got the Chiefs and he's second in rushing yards.
I am not trying to suggest that I'm gonna be up at the top all the time. Now, I will say this. The one thing that does give me a little bit of hope is hearing everybody and how they talk about Z-Star. Now, I know him as Vic. I've known me and Vic, along with JT, have gone back for a bit.
Oh, okay.
I guess Z-Star is the other JT-approved killer that's come in here.
I'll tell you the podcast opinion on Z-Star, but keep going. Because there's a different perception across the league and then across Z-Star, but go ahead. Do you think?
So
tell us about it.
In that league that we were running with JT,
right?
It was me and Z-Star in the Super Bowls almost year after year after year after year, and we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Okay. So we think of each other as evenly leveled players. We do it differently, but we think of each other as
Got you. So it's the battles. I respect that. So, I don't know. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Like super radio dark. I was like, oh, you're already cut out. We've had that happen before. So, Z-Star came in last year with a Niners team that really wasn't like heavily built. Wasn't like this God mode roster.
Yeah.
And the thing about PML last year, so once again, I came from Xbox and I came from a league that I think is one of the best leagues, and PML's right up there too. It's not like PML's but I think PML's a good league because of different things, because of the way it's managed by JT, because of the content and the streaming. People are watching so many games. So like in other leagues, I find myself I can get 7 to 8 guys to watch the game.
Yep.
But I gotta tag it and stuff. It's like the moment I throw up a stream in PML, like there's instantly 5 to 6 guys. So like the involvement's big. There's a lot of potential. So that's why I like PML so much. But the competition, at least last cycle, I was very skeptical when I came in. And granted, when I joined was season 2, the Kansas City Chiefs with a top 5 pick. Now my Mahomes sucked, but everything else about that team was Tyreek, and I actually drafted Mecole and had 97 speed Mecole Hardman last year. So that was one of the things that ended up. So the whole point is I came in after like shit talking the competition just from watching streams, and I was just like, these guys don't. I just felt like Xbox players were just a little bit more creative and a little bit more on top of it versus the PlayStation guys. And I went undefeated season 1. Got all the way to the AFC Championship. I lost in this craziest play against Natural against Lamar Jackson. It was wild. I don't even want to bring it up anymore. I know I brought it up, but the whole point is Natural's gone undefeated. I've gone undefeated. I think the Seahawks went undefeated. We've had Mole go undefeated when he was in as the Vikings last year.
Gotcha.
And then Z-Star went undefeated. Like, it's just something about the comp. Like, people say, like you could look at it and be like, yo, bro, at any time, there's like 5 teams that could go undefeated. That tells me the league is top-heavy. Yeah. In its talent group. Like, whether or not those top guys in this league can compete in other leagues, I can't compare that. I don't know. But I will say, if you have 5 people in 4 or 5 different divisions that are going undefeated every year, then that means the middle of your league
is pretty lax.
It's pretty predictable, and it's not that they're weak. And another thing to consider is team selection. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at a guy like Q. I don't know if you don't know much about Q. He's the Chargers now. Last year he kind of got curb stomped with the Rams team that was really good. Like, every game he was just getting curb stomped. He was just get high as shit and get curb stomped. That was like Q's week in, week out. Now he's kind of focused. A lot of these guys' passing games are opening up because everything is being completely just destroyed by linebackers.
Yeah, just a good user last year could just take everything away,
Right, and that was – so Z-Star – keep bringing it back home here – is Z-Star's user defense in Madden 19
is really good.
Was really fucking good. I want to give him tons of credit. So I have 2 videos on my YouTube where I did kind of like a post. So he had an NFC Championship, and then he had the Super Bowl, and I did a little, like, just watched it and just talked about it while it was on. It was like, I don't know. It wasn't like super amazing content, but I just remember watching the NFC Championship game and going like, wow, he's everywhere. He's everywhere with Reuben Foster right now. I don't know if he had Reuben Foster, but Fred Warner, I was just like, bro, he's all over the place. And I was like, that was the thing that jumped out to me. Offensively, what jumped out to me is he's got 2 to 3 things under his tool belt, and then that's it. Yeah. That's it. And he
wins with defense. Defense is his thing.
Yeah, he was running the same exact he would run tight doubles, flood, and he would motion the go out. So it was more of a split. And then he would just throw the corner, and that was it. It was predictable. Yeah. Like, it got to the point where I was watching the Super Bowl, and I was like, oh, he's going to run this and this, that, and that. And I'm looking like Tony Romo watching this video.
Yeah, and just calling it out. Yeah.
It's you literally have to watch one stream of Z-Star, and then you could beat his offense with ease.
Yeah.
The difference is scoring on his defense. And I have never played Z-Star, so I can't speak to that. I can't attest to that. So I don't mean to, like, spit on him. But he made it to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he made it twice or once, but I don't know if I told Natural in the DMs or if I told Anthony about it, but I was like, yo, Z-Star's going to get curb stomped. And then I was just like, he's just – the fact that he wasn't doing any meta stuff on offense, which is a tribute to his simness, because it's like last year was the spin move. Like, if you had a running back, you could spin move, and then
you spin everything, and that was it. Yeah,
he wasn't. It would be like, dude, you could have 6 touchdowns right now of rushing alone, but you don't spin, you don't know. And I think I said on the podcast, and then the next week I see his ass fucking spinning. I'm like, you bastard. But yeah, so if you feel you're on there on par with Z-Star, and hearing you talk, I think you're going to fit in well. Obviously, sometime you're going to get the easy schedule. It's not your fucking fault.
No, and now I will say this: at least I'm getting the easiest schedule of one of the worst teams. You know, like if I was taking the easy schedule and I had like the Rams, or I had, one of the higher overall teams, I'd feel like I have to perform. Like, really? I've got to go out and, because if I've got an easy schedule and, if I had the Bears and I had a -100 whatever schedule that, I feel like I would have to go out and go 14-2, 13-3, Mm-hmm. But now, okay, so easy schedule aside, I've got a 72 overall team, and I'm 4-2 and leading my division.
Right.
So,
I mean, the whole point is for me, like, I could pick at you if I was a chat whore. I could pick at you for your team's defense, like, or your schedule, your strength of schedule.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can only play who you have, and then when the playoffs hit, You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you win the Super Bowl, your fucking division, your strength of schedule and your regular season doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't matter.
You won 2 to 3 games against the top 8 guys, top 8 guys in the league. So like, okay, like it don't matter to me. Like, so
no, it's like
it's about learning. Like, I hate dudes that like I'll talk the general shit in the chat when you take a loss against a bad team. That's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
But people will bring them stats up and them screenshots of daddy leagues of this time they beat you in the regular season. I'm like, yeah, I get like Molly Rojo, the Texans. He's not a shit talker. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Molly Rojo was getting curb stomped last year as Atlanta. I mean, people were running train on him in the worst ways. But he beat my ass, bro. Because sometimes when you play that defense, and you got Deion Jones and Keanu Neal and Trufant and all that speed, and it just
goes your way,
bro. He covered zeroed me, and I couldn't do dick. Like, I just couldn't get any separation. I couldn't run the ball, and it was just like I could sit on that, and somebody could roast me in chat forever. But at the end of the day, like, that's 15-1. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the one. It's okay, or whatever the loss was, or 10-6, or whatever. Like. So don't beat yourself up if you get a bad schedule. Like, you just got to focus on getting to that postseason, and I think you'll be all right.
Oh, yeah, and it's, when you get to postseason, that's the time when you put up,
Right.
And and my goal right now is to get there, right? I told JT, I was like, look, I'm taking, a not-so-great team. If I end up – and someone call me out for it. I won't name names, but I'll say, look, if I end up with a high draft pick, I end up with a high draft pick. If I end up in the playoffs, I end up in the playoffs. I'll make it work.
Right. Your division, I mean, I'm trying to think. The Pittsburgh guy
he's the new guy. So
he's the new guy.
The whole reason I'm in this division to begin with was I heard Gutfox was going to be in this division, and I just wanted to see what now. Right. We know what happened, but I was like, all right, you know what? He's a half decent player. I'll stick myself in that division. I'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's not here, and I'm leading the division, and I'm like, oh, huh.
Yeah, bro, Gutfox would have got curb stomped by this league. Like, I know I was talking John. I know I was talking John, but I was, like I said, I was watching stream the other day, and I was watching him get toasted by fullback 5 over and over again.
Yeah.
And he didn't adjust, and he just rage quit. And I was like, oh, yeah, I think I know why you quit. I know why, because you can't run your stuff. And
I think, though, the thing that gets lost there is that he is a top-level player every year. So give him a bit, he'll figure it out.
I didn't know he existed until he joined the league. So
okay.
So I get pretty skeptical. I'll be like, and I want the top dudes in here. So
if you go back and look, he's all Madden 1 muck guy every year. He does really well in the weekend leagues. Like he does play really well in the ladders. It's just right now, I don't know what happened with him leaving the league or not. But
he never joined. He never even got it.
He just never even joined it.
Yeah, he came in the chat, said 2 things, was like, I'm not playing in the league unless I'm Pittsburgh, and then never showed. So he didn't get a chance to come in and test the waters at all. He just
got you.
Too worried about his YouTube, and credit to him as your moneymaker. So I'm not gonna.
Yeah, and now the difference between him and like Natural and stuff is he's got a much smaller channel. I think Gutfox runs at like 40,000. Subscribers about, and Natural's at 180 something.
Yeah, it's up there.
And Cookie Boy's at like 600,000, I think.
Yeah, Cookie Boy's been building that thing for a minute. So I mean, and credit to him.
So I think there's reasons. But
so one of the things something that I want to talk about with the other guys, but they're not here, so fuck them. So this game, we were talking about this the other day. So I love the introduction of traits. I think it was a great move in terms of separating the elite from the non-elite and making players more unique. So my thoughts were, though, is where does it go from here, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you look at other sports games that have traits like this. FIFA doesn't really have traits like that. They have stars.
Not in the same way, yeah. Not in the same way.
I've always, and I've said this before, but now you're here and you're a FIFA guy. I always thought it would be cool for the juke stick to be like FIFA skill stick, and then the caliber of moves not be tied to it'd be tied to a rating, but also the star skill moves. And I was just like, I was like, Shady, Saquon, that's 5-star. Other guys,
Yeah,
just make the animations different.
I think that would be cool. I think they tried to do that because there are tiers with the animations. It depends on your rating, right? So like I think Joe Mixon's got something like 91 juke. So Joe Mixon has A tier juke, right?
Right.
Because the threshold's at 91, it's either 91 or 89. And then anything below that, it's like 4-star skills, and then below that is 3, and then so on and so forth. But I get what you're saying.
Right, and kind of the same thing for like route running and things like that. But these traits have been just so great. But my thought was, it's not like 2K with the badges where there's different degrees for each trait, and this, that, or the third. So I was just like, so when next year comes out, what's the move? Is everybody really gonna keep their same traits for the most part? Is that gonna be the thing? Like the traits that Saquon has now, evasive, and the other one, are those gonna stay the same? Are they gonna add tiers to the traits? Are they going to add different ones and like mix it up every year to where that's the excitement? Like what does Hopkins have this year? I don't think that would be the best thing, because I think the traits kind of define the kind of player.
Exactly, right? It should fit the kind of player that they play as, right? Like, so AJ Green has streak specialist and cross specialist, and then the X factor is double me, right? So now cross specialist, I don't watch the Bengals play enough to know that he's really good at crossing routes, but I guess I can agree with that. Streak specialist, I 100% agree with. His fly routes and his fades and stuff are some of the best in the league. And then obviously he's a big body receiver. Double me makes sense. If they had put like rack attack, which is the one that I think Odell has, on Green, it wouldn't fit,
Right. And that kind of also goes hand in hand with like the traits, like that the normal like big hitter, fight for extra yards, like those are in the game, and they lock them from being unlocked. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that too, so I'll kind of just throw this in the conversation as well. I wouldn't mind those being like low percent, like it was a low percentage chance that you unlock them in your dev upgrade. But somebody's like, it doesn't make sense to me that a 99 overall receiver can't learn how to catch with his feet in bounds. But I was just like, but that's just like, that's that player. Like some guys, like
some guys just don't do it.
And Odell or AJ and Hopkins and Antonio Brown, like those are the sideline specialists. Like those do.
Right, and then on the other scale, Odell is not a sideline specialist.
Right, yeah, that's not his thing. And can he get the animation? Sure, just make it so there's a smaller chance of him getting the animation.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be like kind of tiny. I mean, I get that he is like 99 catching or whatever. So yeah, it's still going to be more than the average dude, but.
The one thing I wish is that the abilities weren't specifically tied to dev trait.
That's what we were talking to. Yeah, I think in the future, I think there's going to be some. I think the most realistic thing is there's going to be some smaller level traits that get released and created, and then it be stopped. Guys like. Like Josh Allen with his arm strength and things like that, or whatever the case may be. Like
the bazooka trait that Mahomes has, right? Josh Allen should also have that theoretically,
right? Except it is X factor level, which is kind of weird. And I was actually thinking like that is probably the most useless.
It's the worst. So it only works on the Chiefs, really. Right. Like it'll probably work in Mutt too. But because they have such fast receivers, what you can do is essentially just run, PA max protect or whatever. And if you get the right look, if they're 70 yards down the field, you can still hit them. And you'll hit them in stride, and they'll be outrunning that safety.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I really wish they would put in is the Chiefs actually have a concept that they use. They call it a slice route.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it attacks the cover 3 high, right? It attacks the 1 high safety. You bring them down.
Yeah.
Like run a dig or curl backside.
Yeah. And
the slot either takes in front of the safety or
behind him.
Depending on if
you read it. Yeah. And it's killed. I mean, the Chiefs use it all the time.
Yeah. Well, when you run a 4-2.
Yeah.
like there's nothing the safety can do. He's going to be chasing a route regardless.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the kind of case where I could see it being used. But as far as, like, the abilities that sit in there currently, I mean, there are ones that we don't even have in the CFM as of yet because we don't have players that have unlocked them. There's the one that they gave Pat Tillman in Mutt, and I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Selfless. It's,
Selfless. Yeah. Which
makes every X factor on your team player like get in the zone. Like
right.
if he's in the zone, they're all in the zone.
Exactly. And that is, I mean, if we ever get a player that can, if we ever have a rookie that has that gets that unlocked,
right,
that's going to be insane for whichever team can figure that out. And the other thing is these abilities are random. Like JT can't set the abilities.
Right.
So, you're kind of stuck with, I mean, now we haven't really talked about the rerolls or whatever.
Right.
Which I think during preseason, I guess once might be not a bad thing.
Yeah, for me, it's about I'm generally against rerolls. I like the uniqueness. I like the idea of like either make that guy like in the NFL, people like, I don't know, Natural and those guys, they were saying things like, well, if you want a player to fit in your scheme, you should be able to re-roll it. Like, no, like that's not what that player does.
It's
like,
not, yeah. So, and I think the thing with, I think it wouldn't be for players that actually exist in real life. I think it should only be for like rookies.
I wouldn't be against like a one-time thing, depending. Like, for example, I'm Texans in my main league, and J.J. Watt is the only player in the entire game that has Edge Threat Elite. He's the only player in the entire game.
With Edge Threat Elite, yeah, because Mac has Edge Threat, Vaughn has Edge Threat, but they're just regular, not Elite.
Right. And that league specifically doesn't allow interior linemen to play Edge, even if they played in real life. Like, JJ is by class, like most of his snaps are inside, and then for pass rushing down, he goes outside. But across the league, interior linemen don't do that. So even though JJ is an exception, they didn't want to make an exception to set a bad precedent. Like,
but can't you set him? Well, so if you set him as your rush left end and come out in a nickel package, they'll get mad at you?
Yeah, it wouldn't be allowed. Same thing for –
That's – okay. So see, this is where I differ from most.
It's definitely a stricter.
Yeah, most sim leagues. This is where I differ, right? So if you can do it on the field of a football game, then why can't you do it in Madden?
To most times when it comes to player things, I think I'm inclined to agree with you. But here's the gate that it opens up.
So, John Ross at halfback.
Right, or Todd Ross at tight end. Like, those are the one things. But, like, specifically to the Watt thing, like there were, like, metas that were coming out to play, like, like having an edge rusher play D-tackle was, like, breaking guards. Like, it wasn't really, like, they couldn't, like, there was no penalty for having a smaller player at D-tackle.
So there is, but it's only in the run game. Because the knockback, and you can ask Mole about this. He'll be able to answer it better than I can probably. But to my knowledge, when two players engage in a block, there's a knockback calculation that's done. And the player's weight and strength both factor into that. Mm-hmm. So if you have like, I'm trying to think of the tiny D tackle, John Randall, right? From the Vikings, right? Super tiny guy. He was like 250 pounds, but played D tackle. Mm-hmm. Okay. If he came up against, one of the big mauling guards, like Orlando Franklin used to play guard for the Chargers back in the day. He was like 340 pounds, right?
Right.
If he came up, he would push him back 2 yards just off the bat before anything else happened. And that's the penalty. It's really small, but that's what the penalty is.
Right. If that exists. Now, a lot of these rules, credit to that league, is that they were made from previous Maddens and just never changed because that's what they got used to. So, like, the idea was, like, just because J.J. Watt did it. So, like, for example, there was lax rules before. Guys like Cordero Patterson being switched to halfback because he did that a lot in Minnesota. They allowed that. I had a league where I was Jacksonville and I had Nick Marshall. This was Madden 16, and I didn't want Blake Bortles. I didn't finish high enough to draft a quarterback, and I was like, I had Nick Marshall who played quarterback at Auburn, and I was like, can I switch him? They're like, yeah, he played there in college. Why not? And it broke the game. That read option with him, and I traded for Shady, broke. It was fucking frustrating. It's like 93 speed quarterback. It's like, Lamar before Lamar, and it was And like I was still able to throw the ball. Now I didn't like win and dominate Super Bowls, but they was like, all right, we got to look at that. Or in the Watt scenario, like, all right, so just because Watt plays at edge and you could justify it in real life, then somebody's going to want to take Aaron Donald and play Aaron Donald at edge.
Well, it's so right, but if you can do it in a sub package, right? Like if you can just straight up do it through your depth chart, I see no reason why you can't do it in the game, right? Like I
don't disagree with you. I would like to see it be as a like if I in a perfect league, I just think that I would like to see it justify. Like, does that player, like for example, they ended up changing this rule for Watt, and it was because of the identifier, the edge threat elite, and it was like if you have an interior lineman that has edge threat elite, because it was wasted because I had to play him inside, and he was never going up against the edge. So I really had a whole trait that didn't mean shit.
Didn't do anything,
It wasn't really fair. Now I had the trade-off. I'm not allowed to play. I can only play him at edge now, which is fine.
Okay.
And that.
I mean, he's probably fine out there, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I'm good. Yeah. With him at Clowney, because I still have Clowney in this one.
Yeah, the trade hasn't been done yet, yeah.
But the trait is the line to cross to allow that to happen. So Aaron Donald doesn't have that, so he has to stay inside. So that was what they did. So, but a reroll scenario
would change.
Going back to what we were talking about, like, I don't like the idea of taking Aaron Donald, just re-rolling him until he gets. And now that's a combination. Another thing to consider is they labbed that because evasive is another one, like edge threat elite, which is it's a combination. It's one that like. It like doesn't fit the player mold for JJ. It was like assigned to JJ specifically. So they couldn't get, like, no matter what they did with an interior player, that player never got edge threat elite. Same thing for Saquon and evasive, which is jukebox and spin cycle together.
He's the only one with that.
Yeah, and it's fucking bananas. Oh, it's fucking bananas. Saquon is without a doubt the best offensive player to have, in my opinion. Are there better guys right now? Yeah, but for the future, like just having like a 2 trait in one kind of deal and then a receiving trait, he's
because it gives you essentially 3 traits.
Yeah, plus the first one free. I do want to see that, since we're talking about traits. I do want to see them change up the running back zone. I feel like the zone traits are a little too bland.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be still, like, Gurley has first one free, right? Kamara's got satellite, and I think satellite's pretty cool.
I think satellite's cool too.
And then he's got one that's specific to him, which is matchup nightmare.
Okay. Does anybody else have it? I feel like CMC might have it.
No, CMC has a different one. CMC has, because I looked at these just to see, because CMC has he has backfield master.
Okay.
So
and that's the hot routes, or?
Yeah, that's the hot routes. So because he has the ability, he played wide receiver, right? So he has players with this ability have access to 4 additional hot routes, better route running, and improved catching against linebackers and linemen. So it's essentially backfield nightmare rolled into something else.
Right.
And then he's got spin cycle.
Right. Right. And then Kamara's is rat catching, right? He's got higher chance of rat catch.
Higher chance of rat catch.
And it's really bananas.
Yep. And then Cam has like freight train.
Freight train, right? Which is
really cool.
Very specific. So I would like to see more like that, especially if it's only going to be 50 for the zone factor guys. But I get it. Like I've tried to think of what like ones I would like to see implemented, and I really want to get Dustin. He's the ratings guy. I want to get him in, and I want to have a conversation with him about which ones they scrapped, like which ones, because they had to. I mean, this would have been the most fun meeting of all time, in my opinion. Just to sit down with guys and go, hey, what are these traits going to be? Like, just throwing it out there. One of the ones that I mentioned was like, I like the idea of celebrating some of the players' cerebralness. Like selfless is a good one because it's celebrating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so they actually finally made Tom Brady as good as Tom Brady should be.
Right.
Like it only took 6 abilities, but they finally did it.
Jules, another guy, Elderman, who benefited heavily from these traits because that 85, 86 speed that he's had has been pretty much useless. Every Patriots player I've ever seen in a CFM normally just
ditches him. But now he's got Slotomatic and Cross Specialist, and he's useful again.
Extremely.
kind of frustrating, though, is that James White does not have a receiving trait for a running back. And
Right.
that bugs the life out of me.
Right. I feel like there needs to be, and it doesn't have to be, it could just be like two extra routes. You know, it doesn't have to be the biggest one. But I think they were testing the waters by using it tied to dev trait. I think that was a smart move to see how it's received, because it is a big change, and people, I felt like, were a little scared of it being arcadey.
Well, right, and because what I had wanted for the longest time was the Madden chemistry abilities in CFM that you could unlock with XP. So before it was the old, before it was like the tile archetype upgrade system, when you could like pick your upgrades. What I wanted, like for 30,000 XP, you can unlock this ability, right? So, like, one of the ones for corners is pick 6, right?
Right.
And essentially what it is if you get an interception, you don't lose stamina. So it's pretty similar to, it's not, who has it? I think maybe Fuller on the Bears has it. Because the ability exists now. It is called, because Kyle Fuller, it's called Pick Artist. Okay, so this is 2 MUT abilities rolled together. So this is Pick Specialist and Pick 6 rolled together. Defenders with this ability have higher chance to catch uncontested interceptions, and they have unlimited stamina on return until using a special move or breaking a tackle. So my thought was, back in the day, let me unlock this for my CFM player, but pay like the price of upgrading them to superstar.
Got you. Yeah, I've always been. One of the favorite things I like is that how unique it makes players. So I've always been against like the idea of being able to change
unlocking,
unlocking, being able to change. Just it irks me across the 32-man league, because everybody's going to keep re-rolling their running back until they have evasive. Everybody's going to roll until they have jukebox, because jukebox is bananas. I have jukebox with Deshaun Watson, and it's bananas.
Yeah.
It's insane. Dude.
Now, in fairness, Tariq Cohen has jukebox and spin cycle, so he's almost as good as – he doesn't have first one free, but he has the 2 that he needs.
Oh, he's going to have first one free here soon. At least in PML, it will happen. I've tried my best to keep up with Carry On to his pace with Tariq, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, it's not easy.
He's too good, and I just don't have the roster for it. I wanted to see some of them like Luke. I thought that it would be cool for like, and once again, this might be something that's just like, all right, that's too much. But like Luke's thing is his ability to like game prep and know your defense. So I thought it would be cool to have something like, if he's in the zone, as soon as the ball gets snapped, your play art gets flashed for a second on offense.
Yeah, or pre-play, you get to see one of the routes.
Right, or one of the routes, or if you've run that play before that game.
Yeah.
He can see it in the zone. If only when he's in the zone.
Only when he's in the zone. That would be cool.
And I at first I was apprehensive, but then they introduced threat detector for Russell. Which was just like makes Russell the best quarterback in the game, in my opinion. To have a threat detector, all of the ratings he has, escape artist, his speed. I know Mahomes will probably one Mahomes drops on my list because of the fact that
it's Bazooka.
Obviously Russell's older, so it's not like the best franchise guy. But if I had to pick one for a game, I'm picking Russell, because that shit is so helpful.
Well, he also has escape artist, which is just stupid.
I think that's by far the best trait in the game.
Oh yeah, escape artist is easily the best one. If you watch the game against the Ravens that I had him dead to rights on a cover 0. I had 3 guys in Lamar's face. Yeah. He taps right trigger and is gone for 50 yards, and I'm like, that's just no.
Dude, it's bananas. I like, one of the big things I've done with that Texans league is I've been like something that once again, this is taking something that instead of me going, oh, I'm more of a pocket passer, let me re-roll Watson until I have pocket passer traits. He has escape artist. Obviously, it's not hard to mold your game to escape artist, but I've introduced play action bootlegs to my game because one, obviously, just coming right out of the boot, if the play side defensive end breaks through,
you can just go
around the corner, or even if the backside, I could almost do that back end loop all the way back around to the backside of the play. And since normally those plays are crossing, there's been times where they've they've been in man, come out of the play action, cut to the backside, and there's nobody there, and Watson goes for 50, 60 yards because just escape artist puts him at like 90 speed, I think. Like, I don't know what the true boost is, but it's
pretty high. It's definitely pretty high.
And it was patched. That's another thing too. Like, it was fixed.
It used to be faster. Yeah.
But I'd like to see something that I think they did a good job with the quarterback traits. I think, and it just changes your game planning. So I just wonder how much they plan to expand. I think the smartest thing, like you said, is introduce some smaller traits. Guys like James White, Theo Riddick, they deserve to have
some sort of pass catching. Yeah.
Some kind of pass catching trait that separates them, because that's their role, and give them maybe role specific badges.
Yeah, or like Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham should have some sort of high point ability.
Right. Even though it may be down and it may not be the best thing anymore, like, it's just
right.
And maybe they just introduce more of those. Maybe they're not superstar traits, but just more of those traits, because they haven't changed those other, like, fight for yards, hit stick.
Oh.
I will say they've been more generous with those. I've seen way more guys that have like aggressive rack and possession catch than in recent years. It feels like it's really easy to find a receiver that has all three of them now. So credit there. Where it's due. I wouldn't be against those being able to be unlocked, like, again, through not, we don't have the XP system anymore. So it'd just be like, all right, and make it a real small percentage chance. And then your guy can quote unquote learn how to.
Yeah. Or like, so there's also the ability where, it's called fast break, immediately respond to user inputs on like read options and stuff that Lamar and Cam Newton have. Right. So, theoretically, RG3 and Trace McSorley should also have that.
Right. And that's just the kind of guys they are. Like, I wish I could laugh, but I think first I want to see more running back ones.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think first one free, and double me too. I wouldn't be against the receivers. Like, double me solid, but no, don't get me wrong. Double me is fucking amazing when you
double me if you can get it on. If you can get it on, is fucking. Yeah,
and they'll straight up forget about it, and you're just like, you really left this dude 1-on-1, and it's almost a guaranteed catch. It's almost a guaranteed catch, and
like the only time it's not is if you throw it into double coverage, really.
Right. Or there's been a couple of times where it seems like I overthrow it, like it'll go past them. So like I'm just like, oh, that's kind of weird, because I almost always throw streaks and jump balls in those scenarios, anyways, because I have hop. Yeah. There could be a sideline catch and toe tap one or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
I'd like to see some more unique routes, like Antonio Brown has rack 'em up, right? Well, Antonio Brown's also super, like, he has the wide receiver apprentice. So he has 4 extra routes, but he's really known for being able to find holes in zones.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd love it if there was an ability that, like, against X coverage, a superstar or X factor wide receiver, either or, finds a hole in the zone and runs a different route.
Right. I was just thinking, like, what could it be? Like, it could be like, I don't know, like maybe like in a crossing route, it's like you could pick, like maybe he has 3 like points that he could stop out in a drag or a crossing route, and you could
actually,
like, sometimes you could hit to click, because you have those option routes in the game, but you don't really know which one they're gonna do until they run it.
Until they do it. You know what I think might be the best one, because it's not really in Madden. It's really hard to do it properly. There needs to be a back shoulder fade.
Oh, I have a buddy that used to do it all the time, and I don't know. But
Michael Thomas could have back shoulder fade. And what it would be is you could set up, he would have a route that's called a back. It wouldn't be a fade. It would be a back shoulder fade.
Right.
So when you threw the ball outside on the fade, he'd expect it back shoulder and turn that way versus like running to the boundary and trying, you know what I mean?
Right. Now, I do know that they have I think it's a part of the route, the new route attribute thing or trait where you can run different routes. I think there's one that's called fade stop.
Okay.
And it is more of a curl. I haven't run it, but it might work like a back shoulder. But the whole point is you have to run fade or you have to run fade stop. The idea of this whole route is that it could be one or the other. Like, it's straight up a back. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't.
Yeah, a back shoulder fade is it's a
mid play, right?
Fade, but the receiver sees the leverage of the corner, and the quarterback also sees it, and then they make that decision together to do the back shoulder.
I wouldn't be against that being just automatic, like. Yeah. You know, because of the way the game works, like if he has the trait, then the quarterback will make the right decision. Whereas if he doesn't have the trait, then there has to be some like user input. I don't even know, but
I wouldn't say that the quarterback makes the right decision. If he has the trait and you also notice it, right? Like if you make the right input and he has the trait, then you throw the back shoulder, right? But if you throw the back shoulder and he doesn't have the trait, he might not notice it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's a chance that he does.
Right. I would like to see that fade because fades that aren't in the end zone or red zone are almost always just streaks that are like cutting inside. I'd like to see
outside leverage streaks. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see it a little bit more implemented. I do like the red zone trait, the red zone threat, because it's so hard to throw in the red zone, and I feel like now like Hop doesn't miss anything if I throw a fade. Like it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, also, why don't we give like Tyreek Hill has the slice trait? He can run the slice route.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think.
Also, can we just mention the fact that Tyreek Hill is not superstar and Stephon Diggs is a disgrace.
Well, you know it's because of the scandal, the trial.
It definitely is, but like.
I mean, I get that, but I don't get it. Like.
Yeah.
You know, like he's in the game. Either take him out of the game and commit to it.
Yeah.
Because you're upset. Like if he wasn't tried, he wasn't even suspended. Like, you know, like however you feel about it, like you're gonna take a trait out of. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Same thing for Pat Pete being a star because of the suspension. Like
and like Juju is X factor in 88. Tyreek Hill is a 94 and is one of the biggest like quote unquote X factor players in the NFL.
Yeah, Hill's gonna break the game next year for sure.
Yeah,
when he is. I wonder if he's gonna get it. He didn't get it in my main league, so I don't know if Mike isn't really throwing the ball to him, and he better not expect that dude to get it because. Yeah. And I think he gets rack him up or double me. Either way, it's gonna break the fucking game.
I mean, he should rack him up on Tyreek is just gonna be
disgusting.
I mean, so rack him up on Tyreek in Ultimate Team is stupid.
Right. Just absolutely disgusting. And I'd have to brainstorm some more. Once again, I would love to sit down and get a glimpse of like which ones that they did scrap. I think defensively there can be some better ones. Just because
defensively there could be so many. There could be so many with like
the D-line ones are great. The D-line ones are great. The enforcer's great. I don't know. I don't have a corner X factor in any of the leagues. They got Slay, but they fucked up, and Slay has two of the same trait. So
wait, does he really?
Yeah, they're both zoned out. So I don't really have a two traded player. I only have the one traded him. So
I would if it's both zoned out. Oh no, you got zoned out in Pick Artist. I'm looking at it right now.
Is it really? So that made them. You know what? So what we noticed is Juju has double me in the game. When you start a franchise, and this was on Xbox at least. Anytime we start a franchise, it changes to rack 'em up.
Okay.
So,
he has rack 'em up in the franchise.
Right. So it may have changed.
He has that versus double me. You know what I mean?
Right. So I may have changed it. But either way, I think it was a good move. I just think just a couple different ones.
Yes,
like the pass rushing ones, they could probably separate it into bull rush, spin club,
swim move.
Right, and then that'll allow them to give that to more folks.
You know, pull rip, the whole deal.
Right, and then elite versions of those two the top players.
And then like Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman should have cover 3 elite.
Oh, a coverage-based elite would be interesting. Yeah. So if you're that would be a good fix.
He made his name playing cover 3 match, right? Like that was his deal. Right. So if you call cover 3 with Richard Sherman,
right, you should get a
half
boost.
Of the field looks completely different than when you call cover 3 with any other corner.
Right. I agree that should be something. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
One of the things I just noticed is like guys like Luke and Bobby, like when they get in the zone, like you could still throw that weight. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they're like he's not covering way more ground. They need to make it to where like, yeah, Luke's now going to cover from fucking hash to hash or numbers to numbers. And good luck with that,
Chris Harris should have something that's specific to him being in the slot, right?
Right.
Like he should have an ability that says if lined up against slot receiver gets X, boost
right.
or.
Right. I think we're in agreement. You just got to find something that's a little bit more specific. The downside is there's, thousands of players in the NFL. So like to locate everybody straight, but for the most part, it's going to be straightforward. You're not going to have some backup having it.
It's not like you're going to have some backup with Jalen Ramsey's universal coverage. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
I will tell you what got me fucked up was Justin Tucker's inability to be iced. I lost the game because I didn't even know that existed. I didn't even.
I like that. I like that though.
Oh yeah, It's just another level. But I think you should be molding your team around their abilities, not molding abilities.
Yeah.
Change the player. Like,
right.
I don't run cover 3. I run cover 2, so I'm just change Sherman to cover 2.
Exactly. Exactly.
So either run cover 3 or trade Sherman.
Yeah.
Pick one.
And then like Johnny Hecker has like a slower kick meter, which I think is really cool.
Right.
I like
one guy. So we had one rule one year that allowed kickers and punters to be interchangeable. So this dude thought he was going to be sneaky and trade for Johnny Hecker.
Yeah.
And move him to kicker to get the kick meter, but they banned that. So.
Oh, there you go.
He thought.
He thought that. No, actually, I think the other cool thing is like the lineman abilities. Like,
that was a big adjustment. I'm glad they added that.
I think someone has identifier.
The threat detector? Yeah, it's both a quarterback and an O-line one, or are you thinking of another one?
So threat detector is Alex Mack. He has that. There's another one called Identified where it allows you to see the user on the other side of the field.
Gotcha. I would like that. I think that, just that extra information. And it doesn't give you too much. That's why I didn't want it to I didn't want it to say the play. Like just maybe something for like Luke, like I said, or Bobby, or those smart, like Eric Weddle, those kind of guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda just give you a little bit of info, give you one route or, whatever, or any hot routed route. If a quarterback hot routes a route, it'll tell you what that route is.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I could swear someone had it. Hold on.
It might be one of those that's just not available to any of the players yet, but
just yet, yeah. But that one, you can see the whoever the user is controlling. It lets you it tells you, which is
and
really
that was in MUT for a while anyway.
Yeah.
So but I'm with it, and I think nonetheless though, I think it's changed the whole scope. That plus the trajectory change, and we're going on almost 2 hours here, which is I'm cool with, bro. I'm cool with.
Dude, this is fun. I'm enjoying
a good time.
this.
You got to come on sometime because these guys, these bums. Well, Anthony's not really a bum. I mean, he's a dad of 3, so I understand that. But yeah, this is. I would love to get them. I just want to see, bro. Like what things got tossed aside. What because with Superstar KO in the worst that happened as well. Like I wonder how much was too much arcadey for them. But for the most part, the balance seems fine. The D-line ones are a little OP. The fact that they released the O-line ones is great because it
kind of counterbalances it. Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad at the beginning. We had guys with like 40 sack seasons in my other CFM. So like, the numbers are already high here, and this one in Premier. So definitely need those. I wouldn't be against one that allowed some position changes. And once again, like the one like for JJ. So another rule that we have in that league is we don't allow safeties or any DB to play sub linebacker. The idea for us was sub linebacker means a sub package linebacker, not a DB coming in. Now I get it. Sue Cravens, Derwin James, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what's going to happen is somebody's going to take a corner and throw them there, or you're just loading your team up with speed safeties, and that's fine in Premier, and they don't mind it, and it doesn't break it. I think with trajectories now, I'm okay. I give less of a shit about it. In the previous ones, it was like, all right, guys, we get what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, you have a 91 speed linebacker, you know what I mean?
Or playing your coverage linebacker, your 4-3 off ball linebackers at 3-4 edge.
Yeah.
And running cover 4, drop 2. And then
Yeah.
so you have – like I lost a guy that was running like Miles Jack and Telvin Smith at outside linebacker at edge. I'm like, that's not really – it's not what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can't even justify that's not even done in real life.
Yeah. No, they don't. No, they definitely do not.
So it was just like it's kind of an eye roll moment for me. But having a player like, Judon.
Yep.
Was very talented in coverage, as well as being a 3-4 guy. Having a guy like Sua Cravens, and maybe they have an ability that allows in a perfect world for CFM, that ability would allow them to play sub linebacker. But at least for now, the current world is since they can play there anyways, a CFM could be like, hey, you can only play that DB there if he has this trait.
Or not even that, but like makes him better at it.
Right. Makes him like a little bit less susceptible to like higher block shed, because the chances are they're going to have low block shed anyways.
Exactly. Like make him better at all the parts that would make him a bad linebacker.
Right.
So leave him with all his coverage,
and call it hybrid. I don't give a shit.
So think about if you bring in, say, Derwin James to linebacker, right?
Right.
He gets on 3rd and 4th down when playing linebacker, he gets a boost to his block shed and his pass rush moves and tackling.
Right.
And that's all it would have to be. And because it's so rare that you're going to be running on a 4th, it's not going to activate often, but it would activate often enough that if you put a safety there and you ran against that safety that didn't have it,
you get exposed. And then, you'd be able to run the ball extremely well. With Derwin, you can't. So now you got to be more creative. Like, that's the thing is it's forcing you to game plan.
Right.
Per
and then,
team.
Tyrann Mathieu, right?
Right. Another guy.
Like, he could theoretically – there used to be penalties for playing a player out of position. I don't think it really exists anymore.
Yeah, they used to awareness. But it wasn't playing out of position, was moving them to that position. So moving him to the corner or wherever he wasn't at. Because I know he's played both in Madden.
Right. So now he can theoretically, Tyrann Mathieu, you could play him
with no impact.
Yeah, with no penalty. You could play him at safety. You could play him at corner, and it wouldn't hurt anything.
And it stops the CFM guys from going, well, he does it, so I want to. No, you have the trait. You don't have the trait? Okay, cool. And that's that stops the fucking whining and bitching that comes with me. And you know what it's like to commission a CFM.
Yeah.
Is anytime I join one, the first thing I do is I check the rules. And I'll be like, are these black and white? Because if the rule book is not as black and white as it can be, then you're going to be in trouble because people
– And honestly, the league that we help run, we try and be pretty – we like to leave some gray area. And then what happens is if someone finds a way to break it, we let them break it for a season, and then in the off season we fix it.
Right.
Because we – like if you want to try something to be specific to your scheme, fine, do it.
Right.
You know? But once it becomes aggressive, then we'll be like, all right, no, you can't do that anymore.
Right.
Like I know someone tried to move Golden Tate to halfback.
Mm-hmm.
And we had been allowing wide receiver to halfback because basically they all have really shit carry.
Right. So
if you tried to move John Ross to halfback, I think he's got something like 67 carrying.
Right.
So it's like, okay, do you want to fumble every time you run the ball? By all means, go ahead, do it.
Right.
But Golden Tate has like 89 carrying or something stupid like that.
Right. Well, Golden played halfback and all through high school, so he's got a rep, But just because he played that in high school shouldn't be the justification.
Right. So this guy moved Golden Tate to halfback, and he became a 97 rated halfback.
Oof.
Because of
just high juke and high carry.
Right. Because of the receiving traits too. It was a 97 rated receiving halfback.
Oh Jesus Christ!
And we were like, you can't do that. Yeah, you can ride out the rest of the year, but you can't do that.
Right. We made the mistake. We let you have it. You got a season. You better win it all.
Yeah.
I think defense is where I care more. Tight end, wide receiver to tight end. I think
wide receiver to tight end. We had very specific rules coming out of the draft that they like. So if you wanted to draft a wide receiver to then play tight end, they needed to be both. They basically needed to be Evan Ingram or bigger.
Really?
So it was like 6'3".
My thing was I can't remember the last time a receiver went to tight end.
Evan Ingram was the last one I could think of.
Yeah. Did he actually play receiver in college?
He did both. So he started as a receiver. He bulked up, played tight end.
Got you. And like that's like if we can't, that was always our thing. It was like if we can't think of 5 to 10 examples out the bat, like all right, so like the sub linebacker one, even though the league is being stubborn, other leagues have been stubborn. Like we can list off.
Yeah. A bunch of sub linebackers. Yeah.
A ton. Started with Dayon, Buchanan, even
Buchanan, Sua Cravens,
Thompson. Thompson.
Even back in the day, Steve Atwater used to come down and play linebacker for
Atwater,
the Broncos.
Urlacher used to play safety back in college. So, there's plenty of examples. But if I'm like, man, how many receivers really switch tight? And we're not talking – and then it's like at least most leagues, like you said, do the size requirement.
So our size requirement was essentially like you need to be 6'3", 240 or bigger.
Right.
And that really cuts out most of them.
Yeah, most guys like Kelvin, you'll see them move. I would like to see in a perfect world, I would be, or like my perfect CSFM would probably be banned. But I get where you're going there. You're trying to allow movement.
It was only for rookies, so like you couldn't move Kelvin Benjamin.
Got you. So you had to draft a guy, and now that's I think that's a good thing because wide receivers are dog shit outside the first 3.
Yeah,
in most CFMs, you're either drafting a speedy dude who sucks.
Or a big jump ball guy,
Or a big jump ball guy with he was 19th, 20th in the class or 40th in the class in Excel and speed, and it's like, I don't have a use for them. So now half of the draft class is useless. No,
right.
You can move
so now you can move him to tight end if he fits the size requirement. But as of right now, I don't see anyone in the entire because I think their weights are all too low. Like the closest is Chase Claypool, and he's 6'4", 230.
Right.
You got a couple guys who are 6'4", 230. So this class, there's no one who would be eligible to be moved.
Right. So it's the fact that it's one every couple of draft classes. I think I'm inclined to agree with you to an extent.
Yeah.
And that's something that does exist in PML, so that's cool. We've seen, Anthony, his cheesy ass did move Kelvin to tight end, and it was a goddamn glitch, but. All right, cool, fine. You found a way to make it work. I do like the idea of listen, you get 32. You get to manage your roster.
Yeah.
It would be silly to just be like, oh, you can't make decisions, but for the benefit of the Madden leagues and everything. But the traits are perfect for that, in my opinion. If we can get
an extensive list of them, like a bigger list.
Oh yeah, and I think they were just testing the waters. I'd like to see where they extend it to non-star development players because, like you said, James White, it's a travesty because he should be a problem. I'm trying to think of other ones, but for the most part, Ty Montgomery is another guy.
Yeah, Ty should have some receiving ability.
And it doesn't have to be crazy extensive, but there's something to be said about a guy who literally joined the NFL as a receiver, made it to the league as a receiver, and then transitioned. You got to get
a running back.
Yeah. We actually, little real football talk for you. I got roasted in the chat because they were talking about Alvin Kamara and CMC, and they were like, "Oh, these are the best route running wide receivers." And I was like, first of all, Le'Veon Bell exists.
Yeah.
And I was like, second of all.
You know what? I'd probably put CMC up with Lev Bell.
And then I think they're up there. But then I said, but really, guys, I said, be honest with you, Ty Montgomery is probably the best. And they were like, what? And I was like, Ty Montgomery is the best route runner wide receiver. Now, in a vacuum of the routes specific to a running back.
Kamara and CMC and Lev Bell. Yeah.
But I told him, and I think the only reason I even kind of won the discussion, I was like, can you show me one time where Alvin Kamara ran a post?
Yeah.
I was like, show me one time. Show me one time. I love them. They're fantastic. They're also playing against safeties and linebackers only. I was like, Ty Montgomery would put a route running clinic against corners, legit NFL corners. So that was the thing. So it was a good one. But I would like to see, those guys kind of shine. I would like to see my boy Stafford with some big arm traits.
Yeah. So now I'm just looking at a couple. So there's a double move elite that I don't think anyone has yet.
Devontae Adams.
Does Devontae Adams have it?
And it's bananas. As soon as you see the star flash, you just throw the ball. Whatever. Dude, seriously, that and post flag elite that Hopkins has Yeah, just throw the ball. As soon as you see the star flash, you just throw it. He's gonna catch it. Doesn't matter.
And there's really like interesting stuff like Melvin Gordon with the pin and pull guru.
I really like that. I like to see a couple more guys with that, but it's limited to the 4 or 5 X factor running backs.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like.
So I feel we'll get more as we go on in the seasons. We'll get more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And then once again, that forces you. You should listen. If you want the Chargers and you want Melvin Gordon, you need to run toss.
Yeah.
If you're not a toss guy, why the fuck did you take the Chargers? You know what I'm saying? Like that was my biggest thing. Is like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because people are just going to keep re-rolling their like kind of speedy quarterbacks until they get escape artists. Like I get that.
Yeah.
It's going to keep happening. I would too if it was a free world to do that. But
yeah.
It's not very fair. Now, granted, they are for the most part tied to their traits and their.
I think it's a speed. I think you need to have over 85 speed.
Yeah, and
to get it,
and the archetype.
Is it? Does it have to be? Is it improviser or is it scrambler?
I don't know. Lamar is scrambler. Watson and Russell are escape art or are improviser.
Okay. Does Kyler have it? Kyler doesn't have it, right?
Kyler doesn't because Kyler's star.
Okay. So theoretically, if Kyler got upgraded, he'd get it.
Kyler should. Yeah, it'd be a farce.
Actually, so it looks like Kyler doesn't even have his trait unlocked yet. That's weird.
You can see it. Well, it's because of the snaps yet. We haven't played that many snaps. But
did he get hurt or something? Like we're like week 7. He should have played 500 snaps by now.
You'd be surprised. Hawkinson doesn't have his. I'm still I'd say about 70, 80 short because TJ Hawkinson has superstar. But his is curl comeback, and I don't run any curls or comebacks with my tight end. Like, yeah, it's called curl elite, and then I have red zone. So that's gonna be dope because I'm really struggling in the red zone without like a true top.
Because Zach Ertz also has red zone, right? He's the other guy with that.
He's another guy. Yeah, I think so. Let me see. I'm on my Xbox League that I can check. But yeah, Kyler being star. And so that was actually my big tactic against Gooseneck, the Cardinals user.
The Cardinals guy.
I'm gonna fucking blitz you because you can't
can't really run away as much as you'd like to be able to.
Yeah. So that's, and the game planning has been great. Like, knowing that you're going to get destroyed on toss or with arm bar. So, or, you're like, all right, I got to set conservative tackling this game because you play Keanu Neal or Derwin James or Harrison Smith.
They're just going to lay you out.
If you don't conservative with your guy, you're going to fumble. What player were we talking about just a second ago? Ertz, that's what you said it was. Ertz is insane. Max security is his X factor trait. What is it? Sure-handed, win in the zone, increases their success rate. And no, he actually doesn't have. He has tight end apprentice, and he has in and out elite. In and out elite is bananas too. This dude has Brandon Cooks with in and out elite, and it's just like you can't run cover 3 against him. There's no world where you can run cover 3 against him. But man, I love that dude. Yeah, I know I'm kind of repeating myself a ton, but just
it's great.
Having a constant game plan every week for a different roster. Before, it's cookie cutter. Last year, I ran cover 2 against every single team except 2. Every time, I was running cover 2, and it didn't matter. Didn't give a shit what you did. Didn't matter what formation. But now, I can't ever leave this dude one-on-one. I can't, Yeah,
if someone has postmaster and you're running cover 2, you're just toast.
Yeah, it's a wrap. So, man, it is almost midnight.
Yeah, we've been talking hard.
So, thanks for coming on, though, and kind of sharing. I mean, most of the guys that listen really enjoy these types of conversations where we're really talking Madden and we're really talking the inner depths, especially when you talked a lot about your defense and some of the different movements and metas that you're talking about. So thanks for coming on.
For sure, man.
I think you're going to be good for that division. If I had to make a prediction on air, I think you're good. I wouldn't worry about T too much. He's all talk. Don't worry about the Browns too much. Just go play your game and make sure Odell doesn't get too many one-on-one matches.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
But I think you're going to be good. It'll be exciting to see you in the playoffs. AFC is going to be a good show. The NFC seems to be the top dominant one now in terms of the known user talent, but those Chiefs are nothing to mess with. shoot, I don't even know. I think that the
Yeah.
AFC South is much. So I think you got a real chance to sneak your way into a Super Bowl with a team that I know you hate it, and that O-line is going to give you trouble when playoffs come. But
yeah, dude, once I start going up against like the Chargers with their line, it's going to be tough.
it's frustrating. It's frustrating. He's playing Bosa at D tackle though, which was like, I was like, you can have that, dude. He was like, I wanted more matchups with the one-on-one matchups with the center. And I was like, actually, you're just pulling more double teams from the guard. But by all means, take away from Joey Bosa sacks because he's an animal. So I think you'll be all right, especially if you stay healthy. If you can manage to get through the whole season with AJ healthy and John Ross healthy, and either Boyd and Eifert, I think you're going to be in good shape, especially if your scheme works out. So, guys, watch him. Make sure you peek his get that game film in. Watch this guy, because normally I'm really skeptical. The moment I hear somebody in a Madden league say scheme, I'm like, no. So what you run in mud? What everybody runs?
Yeah.
Like,
no,
but it'll be interesting. I'm definitely excited to see. Because on top of your skill, because I'm pretty sure you're going to have to implement some kind of jet sweeps. You have John Ross. It's going to change a little bit. So it's going to be exciting to see. The only other person that's running a sweep-heavy offense is Cookie Boy. And that's because he has to, not because he wants to.
Yeah, because he has to.
He has to. So to be somebody willingly doing it and labbing it and practicing, and see if that gets, caught on. One of the things I noticed last year is a lot of guys were catching on to what other dudes were running, and you found a lot more guys running 4-4 last year. You found a lot more guys running, the various schemes at the top guys. And like I said, that's the credit to PML for those guys watching streams. But then you catch your play that you've had in your back pocket all your QB draw.
Used against you. Yeah.
Bro, somebody scored on me with my own QB draw 5 wide that I used a ton. And I got scored on because I told people that when you're in I formation on the goal line, or when you're in goal line, just turn on aggressive run blocking because the play's not going to last long enough for you to get the holding.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, everybody's fucking scoring on the goal line against him. I'm like, all right, guys, look, we got to chill that out.
Yeah. No, so there was actually Z-Star stole my own scheme from me. So
the option one?
So part of it, there's a formation, it's called shotgun slot flex.
Okay.
And last year it's split flex. Did I say slot flex? It's split flex. So it's quarterback, split halfbacks, and then 3 wide receivers.
Okay.
And essentially all the plays are run off of screen motion from like a bubble screen motion from the outside halfback.
Got you. Okay.
And from that you can run. There's the bubble motion triple option. There's a bubble motion screen. There's a bubble motion inside zone. There's a bubble motion cross screen. And then there's just a bunch of bubble motion like plays. And I ran it against Z-Star. I swear to God, I put up 50 points. Next time I play him, guess what he's running?
It's an interesting scheme because if you could truly keep people guessing, could you hot route out of that motion cross play?
So you can.
Was it Tennessee playbook you were using?
It's Tennessee playbook, yeah.
Yeah. So we were big on Tennessee last year, and
so
I never
Tennessee,
ran that.
I think also San Francisco has it.
Okay, yeah, I remember Tennessee because I told Anthony to run Tennessee last year because I just loved the run game out of it. I don't know why, I just felt really, really good last year. But I remember seeing all those plays. I just never used them except for the bubble screen.
Yeah,
I loved running the backdoor bubble screen.
And so what it was is what you could do is you could get essentially you can hot route on the
passing
pass plays.
Okay, if you can hot route, then that's why I like the scheme. It was just like the RPOs. If it's limited, it's like
not on the screens, but on the pass plays you can hot route.
Right.
So essentially that screen would just become like your flat route, and then everything else, because you couldn't hot route the screen route, but everything else you could.
Mm-hmm.
So like you'd have the user following that bubble route most of the time because they had to.
Right.
But then you could run everything else off the backside, and it was just.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you stop that? So my key was cover 2. You
have to run a hard flat on the side of the bubble route.
Really? I'd man the middle linebacker up on the most inside slot. I don't know if it was, I can't, there's no tight end there. So middle linebacker's playing the slot. Middle linebacker's playing the slot. Corner's playing the man. And I'm playing the nickel yellow And as soon as he goes out, I'm just jumping the swing.
Got you. And see, that's the thing, right? Because now you're using the swing,
right?
Okay, and you've got a middle linebacker manned up on a slot receiver.
Fair, right?
I've got a slant route over the middle that's just wide open.
Right. Whatever, and then there has to be an adjustment there.
Yeah.
Most of the time, just running forward discourages it enough, so then I can kind of back up.
Yeah.
But hot routed slant would beat that theoretically. So it all depends, right? I mean, if you got Roquan, cool. I think last year I had a speedier guy at linebacker, so it worked out of it. And nobody was hot routing the slant. Everybody was just expecting me to fall for the bubble or the motion screen.
It's a little motion screen. Yeah.
So, but that's the game plan. And then I catch on, and then, so that's I do like this. So I'm excited. So I'll definitely be checking it out and watching your game, and we'll talk about it. I'm about to have you on again, man. It was a good talk.
Yeah, dude, we should definitely do this again. If there's more people on, but yeah, we're going on.
He's gunning for your job, boys. Anthony, Rob, he's gunning for your job.
We can make it a 3-man booth. I'm okay with a 3-man booth.
I'm down. Either that or last year I did a lot of game of the week. And commentated a handful of games live.
Okay, so I've done that before. If you want, I actually have experience doing that. So
I don't know. The only issue that we had was like people get like one of us commentating would be like super behind the other one.
Got you.
But maybe if we can find something out. I saw T, and I'll get with T and I'll ask him, even though I hate talking to him for more than 2 minutes. Like it just every conversation progressively gets worse into just memery, and then it's like he'll be like Carson Wentz is overrated. I'm like, all right, I disagree with you, but let's have a conversation. And then 10 minutes later, it's Daniel Jones. He's like, Daniel Jones is better than Carson Wentz. I'm like, all right, let's slow down. And then you saw last night, and he hasn't said shit about Carson Wentz yet. So
yeah. I mean, hot take: Baker Mayfield's overrated.
I like Baker's anticipation. I just think it's I don't like that they decided to let Greg Williams go and go with Freddie Kitchens. I think that was the mistake, was the head coaching change.
Yeah. No, I think Baker is a good quarterback, but I think the problem is he tries to do too much almost all the time.
Yeah, and he's used to having to do too much.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think he did have Hollywood Brown and CeeDee Lamb his senior year at Oklahoma, but he's always had to be the playmaker. And I think now, I think it's just got to take time, because he's got a guy who can take every slant yard at any time. So I think it's going to take time. But it's only week 4. I'm actually going to their game on Sunday. They're going.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm going to Baltimore to see them.
Okay.
But my Lions play, so I'm trying to bring my iPad to the game and watch the Lions game at the same time.
There you go.
Like,
dude, I'm going to try and see if I can peep some tickets for the Giants-Pats game. But going to games at Gillette is like the most expensive thing on the planet.
Is it really?
Oh my God. It's terrible. It's terrible. Unless you get free tickets, you just don't go.
Okay. See, the Redskins are garbage out here, and the Ravens have been pretty bad. So we had $150 for like 13th row.
Dude, that might get me nosebleeds.
Right, yeah, dude. Like, yeah, these are – and then the Lions play Washington the week before Thanksgiving. The tickets are $30.
That's not bad.
And that's not nosebleeds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, like this is like I'd pay $150 to get in the door at Gillette.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I'm not about that life. So, but yeah, let's do some commentaries. Let's pick some games out, and we can sit and talk. And that's my favorite thing to do when I watch this game. Just kind of break down what those guys are doing. The only issue is PML games last like an hour and 30 minutes. So.
Yeah, we get tired. Bring some water.
Get some water. Yeah, and I didn't drink during this one. I didn't know we were gonna do a 2-hour one. So
yeah,
but that'll get these guys through the weekend. So, and it was good. It was good talking with you, man. So
yeah, you too. We'll be in touch. All right.
For sure. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. If you listen to this whole thing and you're wondering what the fuck we're talking about with the Premier Madden League, go to premiermadden.com. Fill out the 9-page application that and a background check that JT has everybody running through.
Fingerprints too. Don't forget those.
Yeah. The biometric scanning, proof of citizenship, and then and then maybe you'll get a shot to do a tryout league. So we'll see how it goes. But there's plenty of content there if you're interested. If you're coming in from one of the YouTuber channels, welcome. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We'll catch you guys next time.